Chapter 1 God. Level Selection System. You are listening at FameTV.info. Daqin, Zenwuzong, Jianqi Peak, the backyard of the dining hall. Crack. Meng Xing raised his axe, went down with one axe, and split the erected wood in half, neatly. He has been in this world for 3 days, and he has also chopped firewood for 3 days. In Jianqi Peak, he was a low-level outer sect disciple. His daily work was chopping firewood. Apart from eating and sleeping, he hardly stopped for a moment, euphemistically called it training. Both palms are already thick calluses. This kind of work, the predecessor has been doing for 3 years, and there is almost no day in Jianqi Peak. Meng Xing, who came through, also wanted to resist, but his strength was not as good as others. If he resisted a little, there would be more hard work waiting for him, and he would be severely beaten. Meng Xing also practiced the exercises seriously, but the exercises passed on to him were of the lowest level. After practicing for a few years, he still failed to open his pulse and was instead scolded as a waste. Condensing Qigong, Huang. Level low. Grade, 10 years of practice, can open the pulse. Meng Xing recalled the exercises he had learned, and couldn't /t help but complain for a while. It took 10 years of practice to open his pulse. He wanted to cut off his cultivation path abruptly. People who pass on their own practice can be punished. The predecessor has been abandoned for 3 years, and I can no longer be abandoned, otherwise this life will really be abandoned. Drip. After chopping 200 caddies of firewood, a screen panel that only he could see finally appeared in front of him, with a string of characters on it and 3 options written on it. 1. Continue to chop 300 caddies of firewood. 2. Go to the library to read for 2 hours. 3. Go and say, "I love you," out loud to senior sister Lu. The system rewards are random. If there are no special circumstances in the future, no more prompts will be given. Meng Xing breathed a sigh of relief. The system finally appeared, and finally no longer had to work so hard to chop wood. However, the second option is, go to the library. With such a low status, how can you go to the library to read books? Not enough permissions at all. Also, what is option 3? Saying, "I love you," to senior sister Lu aloud, doesn't /t this think that you are dying too slowly. Senior sister Lu is a disciple of the inner sect Tianjiao, and her strength is even more terrifying. She is even expected to become the true disciple of the peak master. She is also a stunning beauty. There are countless people who like her. If you hack, you will be hacked by others. It seems that I can only choose the easiest way to do it. Although it is a bit tiring, it is a little rewarding. Meng Xing chose the first option and continued to chop wood. In his mouth, he recited. Therefore, when heaven will give a great responsibility to man, he must first suffer his mind and will, labor his muscles and bones, and starve his body and skin. An hour later, the 300 caddies of firewood were finally chopped. Meng Xing felt numb in his hands and feet, and his whole body was dripping with sweat. The task has been completed. Random reward. Strength +1. Meng Xing only felt that a force appeared out of thin air, pouring into his body, and his hands and feet that were so numb that they didn't /t want to move regained some strength. Not bad. Not bad. With the system, in this world where strength is respected, I can finally have a bit of power. Meng Xing felt joy in his heart. Today /s work has been completed. The sky will be dark. Meng Xing has eaten a meal in the dining hall, and plans to wander around to trigger the system options, hanging around for a while where the outer disciples of Jianqi Peak can go. As the lowest outer disciple, there are not many places he is qualified to go. This time, I saw a female disciple from the outer sect wielding a sword on the training ground. Her sassy demeanor and slender and graceful figure caused a group of male disciples to stop and watch, all eyes glowing like a hungry wolf. Meng Xing shook his head, a little speechless. These people exuded the breath of male hormones, and even the air was dyed yellow by them. This time, another series of numbers appeared in front of him, which made his eyes light up, and the system finally triggered again. 1. Move on. 2. Practice swordsmanship with Luo Yao and dance with beauty. 3. Laughing loudly at other male disciples. Meng Xing resolutely chose the first option. The others were all at the rhythm of death, so he didn't have to choose. Meng Xing continued to walk forward without stopping to watch. The task has been completed, random reward. Constitution +1. Meng Xing felt that there seemed to be an invisible aura that swam in his body for a week, and then disappeared in a flash. His physique seemed to have improved a little, and people also felt a little more spiritual. Continue. Meng Xing was in high spirits. The task has been completed, random reward. Strength +1, the task has been completed, random reward. Constitution +1, after wandering around for a while, I triggered several random rewards, all of which were very easy tasks. It seems that the system also knows that his strength is low, and gives him some wool, but unfortunately, the system did not reward him with a set of exercises, which was what he lacked the most. Seeing that it was getting late, he went back to his residence and sat cross-legged on the bed, preparing to try the low-grade Huang-level condensing Qigong. After condensing the breath and following the formula of condensing Qigong for an hour, Meng Xing had no choice but to give up this condensing. Qigong is simply rubbish, it is better not to practice it. Meng Xing had to lie down and sleep. Early the next morning, he got up in good spirits and continued to chop wood in the backyard of the dining hall. Meng Xing was surprised to find that he wielded his axe more easily. The strength and physique rewarded by the UU reading www.uukangshu.com system greatly improved his strength. After half an hour, the system triggered the task again. 1. Continue to chop 300 caddies of firewood. 2. Ask Zhang Suntu to give himself a day off. 3. Ask Luo Yao to take himself to the library. Zhang Suntu was the general manager of the dining hall. He was in charge of the food and drink of the entire Jianqi Peak outer disciples. He was also the only inner disciple of the dining hall. Under his instructions, the predecessor was beaten several times, the most serious one was almost beaten to death, and he was also the most hated enemy of the predecessor. Meng Xing was helpless. It seemed that he had to choose the first one, and the other tasks were difficult. Just as he was about to choose number 1, he saw 3 women approaching the dining hall. One of the women was the outer disciple Luo Yao, who was graceful and beautiful. On the other hand, Zhang Suntu, the head of the dining hall, was standing at the entrance of the dining hall. He had a big belly and watched the 3 women greet each other with smiles, showing his diligence. Although Meng Xing was standing in the backyard was only surrounded by fences, so he could see the front yard clearly. Soon, Zhang Suntu welcomed the 3 beautiful women into the dining hall. You can /t have a house if you lick a dog. Meng Xing complained in his heart. However, he was a little hesitant to ask Luo Yao to take him to the library. He is Jianqi Peak /S lowest errand disciple. From the outsider /S point of view, it is difficult to enter the inner door, but Luo Yao is a genius of the outer sect disciples. It is probably very easy to enter the inner sect. Naturally, there will be that kind of arrogance of superiority. Where there is arrogance, why not try it? Thinking of this, Meng Xing put down his axe and walked into the dining hall. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.